It's Smite Draft League, it's Challenger Action, it's Volcanic Lightning versus Small Town Girls. I'm Anthony, and I have got the one and the only Joywolffe with me today.
I am so excited to get into the game as we look into picks and bans for game number 1.
And with the crazy twists and turns that both leagues for SDL have been taking, the more traditional and very classic team comps we consistently see in Challenger, and then the all over the place craziness that is the Premier League. I'm always excited to see if we're ever going to get a Challenger game where they take that kind of crazy approach that Premier League has been taking.
Yeah, I would really love to see just some off the wall picks, maybe a bit of an arena match at some point, just both teams scrapping it up. I think that'd make for some good entertainment.
Yeah, I think Arena and Conquest is the easiest and fastest method to get yourself some entertainment. We do see some
Absolutely.
non-traditional bands, though. What do you think of the very early Baba Yaga ban?
Baba Yaga can be a late game powerhouse, especially if you just let her stack up, with that house passive gaining her stacks. So I understand the Baba Yaga ban. I don't know if it's first round ban though. Unless this is a targeted ban, I
Mhm.
don't know if I would ban it in the first phase of.
Yeah, it's always a tough call if you want to get those off the board, but we do see an early Thor lock-in. I love that. I love early Thors.
Absolutely. Thor is just such a powerhouse right now after his recent buff, and being able to have that semi global pressure from his Anvil of Dawn is absolutely huge. Being able to shut off an area with his wall, Thor has a huge impact right now. I love this as a first pick.
Same, and the constant presence of, I mean, if you don't have good enough wardage, you could be in soul lane, and if your wards aren't out by even past Fire Giant, you could be at risk of a Thor gank at any point in the game. And that's just so completely alters your mindset. We see the Pele come out in response, though, which I actually like. Pele has been very strong throughout the SDL so far this season.
Yeah, she offers a lot of early pressure, which a lot of teams are able to snowball with at this skill level. So definitely understand the Pele. And one of my favorite picks, the Hades. Love to see it.
Yeah, and it's coming out pretty early. And Hades and Pele have very strong synergy. So I think we can kind of already see that there's a strong coordination in this team comp coming out.
Absolutely. If somebody is trapped in the Pillar of Agony, Pele's just able to womp on them. So excited to see if that combo will be utilized as an Atlas comes out. I
Huh.
Interesting pick. Lots of CC and displacement on the Atlas, so almost an evergreen strong pick. Not broken, but always justifiable.
Yeah, and we haven't seen as much Atlas as we might have expected early on. But whenever Atlas shows up, it's been pretty consistently strong, especially in the early laning phases. And we do see the Carninos follow up with that. I feel like there's a lot of synergy there and a lot of kind of setting up the Carninos, which I like.
Yeah, absolutely. If you need a god that can facilitate, Atlas is definitely one to do it for you. So I love this duo lane, but Tragic and Lucent are two incredibly strong players, so they'll have a lot to work against.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough, but I think the thing that could be the strength for them is where we're seeing this team comp go. And as we were talking about how you could kind of start to see a theme, the Terra goes just along with that. The area lockdown that Small Town Girls has is absolutely crazy.
Yeah, and not only to mention that, but Hades' ability, along with Pele in somewhat, but not in a similar vein as Hades, uh, able to proc that Terra ultimate so easily on the enemy, just tick, tick, tick damage away, and suddenly those stones are burst, and you dealing so much damage. I love the Terra pick with this composition.
Yeah, I do as well. And we are starting to see our next bands come out. What are you looking for the teams to target to try to get out here, and where do you want to see them go with these last 2 picks on each side?
I definitely l- am happy to see these mid laners being targeted out. Uh, there's so many mages. I always love to see where mages go when their god pool is put under duress. So I'm interested to see what these mid laners are going to pick up. Uh, and the
Ooh.
Scylla, that's interesting.
I love a good Scylla, and we've been talking a bit about what we've seen so far in the SDL this season in both leagues. And Scylla is something that has not been prioritized, but every single time a Scylla shows up, it's impactful and it's dangerous the entire length of the game.
Absolutely. She's kind of like what I said with Atlas, just an evergreen strong god. Scylla's damage and objective secure can be absolutely ridiculous. So, not surprised to see her here at all.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see that objective secure because as I've seen a million times from Volcanic Lightning, their name of the game is to try to get early and very strong map control. So trying to tick some of that back with the Scylla, with the good movement using that Sentinel, and then the amazing objective secure and steal potential is huge for Small Town.
Absolutely. Being able to steal away one key objective absolutely deters the other team's momentum. So that they really have to be careful about zoning off or waiting until this Scylla is in the grayscale to take some of these neutral objectives. I really like that Scylla pick for that reason.
So what do you think about this Raven pick coming in late and followed up by the Poseidon? Do you think that's a good way of rounding out Volcanic Lightning?
Definitely. I'm curious to see if this is going to be a Ravana jungle Thor solo or Thor jungle Ravana solo. Probably going with a Thor jungle for my prediction, but Ravana's really able to track down some of these gods, follow their leaps and dashes and whatnot. So I really like this Robin, especially being able to overhead kick the some of the CC such as the uh, Sikkim or when Terra runs through her monolith.
I think it's a good call, and that's something to look out for as we will meet you into the game. We've got Volcanic Lightning, Small Town Girls, role swaps, unique gods and unique roles. I'm Anthony. He's Joywolffe. Let's do it.
Yeah, and As you said, a lot of players maybe off-rolling or some interesting god picks to interesting lanes. So this should be a very exciting match. I can't wait to get into it.
Same here. The only character we did not discuss in the picks and bans came out late, but it is a really fascinating character to talk about because I keep wanting to see it because it's so strong right now, but we haven't seen it, and that's the Medusa, this time being played by Geo. What do you think about the Medusa in this game?
I'm really interested to see how this Medusa will perform. Obviously, with her dash being able to be body blocked, it's not the most safe god, but Medusa can be absolutely huge in a team fight, especially with her Petrify ultimate. So we'll see if the Medusa is able to have an impact in this match.
Yeah, and I think it all depends on the positioning come late game and being able to use that ultimate not just to get, the stuns or the damage, but to just be able to use it to kind of control the positioning of the other team. So if Geo can do those things well, that Medusa could be a huge game changer as we get into the early farming of the lanes here. Very aggressive from Volcanic Lightning very early, but even more aggressive is Small Town Girls in the solo lane. Cube has to be saved by the wall from BudweiserCranker as he gets some really good damage on a Terminator. Tries to get the heal, but didn't get as much as I think he was prepared for. Blink in from Purple is going to get the first blood from Cubed. And just like that, BudweiserCranker gets the response on a Terminator, but Purple gets the double kill as we're brawling in solo.
And gonna pick up that wave as well. Purple's gonna be well fed to start this game off. Exactly
back over
where
into
you want to
the
be.
duo lane. Exactly what you said. Exactly where you want to be is King of Darkness as he's going to try to get the final hits onto Geo, but Geo slithers away to safety. And we're fighting all over the map, but the duo lane did not have nearly as easy of a time securing those kills.
Yeah, a little surprising given that Geo didn't put a point into his escape. That dash, although body blockable, is still viable to get yourself out, so he won't have that for another level. I'd be looking at that as an opportunity to perhaps get a kill while he's vulnerable.
Yeah, it's really surprising that not only did he not take the dash, but that they weren't able to get the kill, considering the health and the lack of a dash. Not even a bit of a misplay because the positioning by Lucan made it really difficult to chase, but still, interesting plays all around the dual lane. But Geo might have stepped too far again, and this time Lucan's a bit too pushed up to do anything to fall back to help. King of Darkness turns his attention, but they don't know that there is a Burple hanging out in the jungle. Here he comes. The target is King of Darkness, and the damage is good. Geo's low in the back, has to play it safe, and Lucan fell very low, very quick. So no follow-up kill on the Perspective Duck, but a good gank nonetheless from the small town jungle.
Absolutely. Burple is having an impact in this game already to the song of 3 kills under his belt. He is impacting the map solo, duo. He is really doing it all right now.
He's doing it all, and, we didn't get to talk much about that fight in the solo lane, but it was so well played, really, from both sides, with the exception, maybe, of how long Budweiser hung out low. But that was a crazy first blood engage.
Absolutely. It looks like
Ooh.
both play. Ooh.
Good little stun there. It's so hard to tell. You could kind of tell both of us were staring at the solo and looking to see if there was going to be an engage, and they both kind of backed up. It's so hard to tell with characters like that, and a bit of a late beads there from BlackAirForcess. Might have been worried on follow-up.
Yeah, Scylla does have that oh so deadly I'm a Monster ultimate, so that could be coming out on any Sikkim now and be absolutely lethal.
Yeah, you got to be careful of it, and we talked about that a bit with the Medusa and just how the ultimates can kind of control the positioning of the other team, and you can really use that to your advantage to try to make plays happen even if they're not set up. Small Town Girls is getting so much pressure in this duo lane. They've basically been playing the last 3.5 minutes under their tower, which is never easy for a duo lane.
No, you really have to just kind of hope the enemy team is making a mistake. At that point, maybe they overstay a little bit, take some tower shots, but it's really hard when you're just being forced under your tower constantly. It's just such an annoying way to get almost bled out of XP and farm.
Yeah, it's almost more effective than just freezing a wave because you also feel too pressured out of rotating. A very lazy back from BlackAirForcess. He gets the kill with the help of the tower onto Burple, but he kind of got caught just hanging out under his tower.
Yeah, we always want to punish those lazy backs. Can't be lazy back in here. But luckily, he was able to get his Kraken off and was able to secure the kill on Purple. That's a pretty big shutdown at this point in the match. So I really wonder who that was benefited to. I'm leaning towards BlackAirForce.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I think that play could have gone a little bit better for BlackAirForcess. Maybe if I'm assuming he had his item screen pulled up, but he heard the Pele coming in, so which is how he was able to get the kill. But if he waits even a second longer on that item screen, I think he might have been able to get the kill and survive. But you know, we have a completely different perspective of this map than they do.
Absolutely. The player's POV is much different from the top down, so got to give credit where credit is due. At least he was able to pick up the return kill and get the shutdown.
So as we're starting to get our first items online here, is there anything sticking out to you? You're seeing most things kind of play out the way we expect. Hang on to that thought for a second, as we do see Cube and Burple have run into each other in the jungle, but it looks like they're kind of just checking out each other's skins, making sure nothing too weird is going on there. They're still hanging out, this time by the oracles, trying to decide if they want to fight. They've got their supports roaming around too, and they're just gonna go their other ways. That was a bit of a weird tango in the jungle there.
Yeah, I think King of Darkness showing up was really what made the difference and allowed his team to secure the oracles. Lucent not really showing up to aid Burple, so maybe that's why they weren't able to secure.
Oh, there's the slam down onto Burple, but the follow-up damage has not been good yet. King of Darkness, though, might have gotten caught out. Perspective Duck is here in the Kernanos, trying to get his support out, but Burple re-engages at the perfect time. Perspective Duck does find the kill onto the Medusa. CubeDaFace falls to Terra, and now it's Perspective Duck in a 1v2, but it doesn't look impossible. Burple's one basic away, but Lucan's doing a great job of blocking it out so far. There's the root. Perspective Duck still hasn't killed Burple. Trying to get the lifesteal onto the Terra. Dash gets blocked. Blink from Pele. Doesn't do any damage yet. Lucan finds the kill, saving Burple. Perspective Ducks could not pull any tricks out of a hat that time.
And what a play from Lucent. Just the body blocks were on point, utilizing every cooldown to get his max contribution. Just what a play from the support.
Yeah, it's always tough because it's so easy when you're focusing on body blocking and trying to zone off the ADC. It's so easy to get blown up and die yourself, and now all of a sudden the ADC has a 1v2 kill and gets a double. So that was really well played by Lucan.
Absolutely.
Uh-oh.
Looks like
we talked about it earlier. Here comes the ult, but he dashed out just in time. Big follow-up damage, though, but not quite enough to commit from BudweiserCranker. And that Hades with the dash, the timing was impeccable. In the mid lane, bit of poke, nothing crazy. So we get to talk about the amazing escape from Terminator piloting the Hades.
Yeah, just the awareness to be able to use your leap and get out right on at the perfect moment. You know, can't do much to avoid the wall stun, but Burple seems to be caught out a little bit.
Burple got caught out, but the Robin ultimate and the Atlas ultimate are both no good. And he's going to drum his way out of there back to the safety of his own jungle. And nobody can really follow up because of the speed. Very fortunate series of events there for Purple.
Absolutely. Pele's just so quick, and with her ult as well, being able to aid her in her escape. Just so hard to lock down. You really got to give it to Burple on that. That Pele was just absolutely out of there.
Yeah, I think it kind of came from the... Burple was fighting killing the red buff, on the far side of the buff, which just gave a little bit of an easier time out. But Burple did get caught out rotating over to the soul lane by the support. Now he's getting brought right over to Cube, but Cube seems to have missed a bit of damage there. Terminator comes in for the ultimate, and all of a sudden the damage goes the way of Small Town Girls, and Terminator's got himself a double kill. And King of Darkness has to get out of there. That was such a turnaround from Small Town Girls. I thought Burple was caught out and they were all going to die, but they managed to turn it around somehow.
And that's absolutely what a Terra ult can offer you in a fight. The healing after you've taken enough damage from the stones being popped. And then, again, the tick damage from the Hades ult being able to proc the ult on the enemy team, allowing for huge damage. What an ultimate from Lucent.
Yeah, I think that definitely turned the tides of that fight because things were not looking good at first, but we did see some poke coming out of the duo, and even though the supports have long since vanished, the pressure still leans the way of Perspective Duck over Geo. Do you think that Geo's kind of got at his deal with being pressured out, or do you expect to see some potential early rotations from this Medusa to kind of throw things off in the duo lane?
I definitely think an early rotation could be viable. Medusa can really turn a fight with her ult, so if she's willing to rotate, kind of counterintuitive when you're behind, but it looks like the action moved to the dual lane instead.
Yep, and Geo is getting pulled away, but Perspective Duck was not as interested in the fight as King of Darkness may have thought. Yeah, it's always a tough balance act to try to, when you're behind, keep up, but also still try to help your team get an advantage. You can always take the risk of invading or rotating or things like that to try to get your lead back and catch back up, but you run the risk of if you get caught out in doing that, you're never getting back into the game, and now the duo lane has an even bigger lead on you.
Yeah, the one thing I don't think Geo can afford to do right now is just sit and box in lane. You have to just kind of farm it up and either, start rotating or accept that you're going to be behind.
Oh, and just like that, as we talked about it, Geo gets soloed. We do have a pause coming out, so we'll be right back on the Smite Draft League. I hope you remembered to top off your drink and put the lid down. We're back on the Smite Draft League. Pause is over. Right before we had to take a short break there, Geo got soloed in the duo lane, and things weren't looking too great for Terminator there for a second either, but exactly what the Medusa did not need to happen happened. Volcanic Lightning, though, does pick up the Pyromancer. There comes the Kraken. Burple is getting poked out like crazy, eventually does get deleted by Cubed. So turning around this from the solo, Volcanic Lightning managed to pick up a lot just from that with the Kerninos rotation.
Yeah, a huge rotation coming out. Also, Burple falling is just, maybe a little bit of hubris charging in 3v1, but he's one of the highest levels in the lobby currently. So,
I'm a monster from TragicFox hits under the tower. The root was too much to handle, and BlackAirForcess falls.
and that's exactly what we talked about. I'm a monster can come out and just absolutely delete someone. TragicFox is just showing off everything that we've been saying.
Yeah, and we talked about the CC from Small Town Girls. and I think it's really showing up in the setup for the Scylla. Perspective Duck, though, trying to solo Geo again, doesn't know Terra's hanging around, but doesn't seem phased yet because he knows Cube is on the way. Geo's caught in the back, but the root is not good. Cube's going to have to use that ultimate, but it's not up yet. So they're going to have to just go for the chase with their base abilities, and it's not going to be enough so far. Geo is away. Atlas, piloted by King of Darkness, is on the way, but too little, too late. And here comes Scylla. Cube gets the kill onto Lucant, though, and gets away with 1 HP. So it could have been a disastrous gank, turned into at least 1 kill for Volcanic Lightning.
My jaw was dropped by the amount of damage that TragicFox just did. As Kraken comes out, and Purple's ready to go.
The Kraken came out for defense, but Purple didn't care at all. Picks up the kill on the BlackAirForcess in the mid lane. He stepped back from the Kraken, watched it come, and was completely unfazed by it. Now Budweiser's got to find his way out of there quick, because Purple popped up on the ward and is on the way hot.
I think the only 2 times that Purple has fallen this game were when he was on the receiving end of a Kraken. So, you know, being a little more cautious and taking a step back to make sure he doesn't get caught up in the Kraken, and then he decides to get dumped and finish off the kills. Love to see him improving on his play mid-game.
Geo has been 25% HP for about 2 minutes, trying not to lose that tower, and I respect the effort a lot, but just go back and heal at this rate. The pressure's not going anywhere. You're going to come back to a fight in that duo lane, which has been kind of the story of this game. The Pele has been the story for Small Town, and the Kernanos has been the story for Volcanic Lightning. So late game, one of those two is going to have to give to find the other team's the advantage, you know?
Yeah, you have to imagine that Perspective Duck will be the prime target for BurpleNurple's dive late game, or maybe Lucent now.
Yeah, it could be anybody. I also could imagine TragicFox trying to, when he gets that damage off, when he goes for the I'm a Monster, I could see, because of even though there's a dash from Kernanos, there is a bit of a lack of mobility because the dash is not one of the further ones in the game. We could definitely see really Perspective Duck be a target for everybody. And because if you take him out, at the moment, if you take him out of a fight, the only real difference maker has been cubed. And as I say that, he runs into the Pele, but everybody from Small Town Girls is there. Crush, wall, ult from Cubed. He finally gets away. Perspective Duck, though, wants a fight, and Cube's like, hey man, I just used my ultimate. Call that 5 seconds ago. Kraken comes out too late. Burple uses the ultimate to get out of there. Cube finds himself once again being peeled off. He's the victim of all the damage. Up into I'm a Monster. Not gonna hit on the Perspective Duck. And just like that, Tragic is already down low. Perspective Duck gets a kill onto the Scylla. Gets a double onto the Medusa. Falling low, though, because Hades has shown up from the solo lane. Right behind him is his competitor in BudweiserCranker, slamming down the hammer. Terminator, though, goes through to the Gold Fury and runs into BlackAirForcess, gets another kill. Uses the big heal onto King of Darkness and BudweiserCranker. That should be enough to get him away. And once again, the spite has taken another turn. Now it's favor Small Town Girls. Burple gets the kill on a King of Darkness. Blink from Terminator. Half health's Cube. He gets absolutely deleted. And Small Town Girls has completely cleaned house. They want the Gold Fury.
Oh my goodness, that fight went so many different ways. That was, where to begin? Just, it looked like, to start out, that Small Town Girls would absolutely run away with it. And then a huge Kraken comes out from BlackAirForcess to turn the fight back in their favor. But the solo rotation comes in. Terminator just a little bit quicker on the draw than BudweiserCranker, and that could have been the difference that really turned that fight.
Yeah, I think you're right, because if that hammer gets there before the Hades, I think they have enough damage, if TragicFox had been alive, that they can really, really turn things. Pardon me, not TragicFox, I was talking about Perspective Duck. Small Town Girls does pick up the Pyromancer, but yeah, I think a slightly earlier throw rotation there could have been all the difference, because TragicFox falling so early was huge for Volcanic Lightning. They really could have had that fight. Perspective Duck was doing so much damage. It was kind of insane.
Yeah, Geo being a little bit further behind. Tragic is really the main source of damage right now for the small town girls. So seeing her fall early should have been a go, go, go for Volcanic Lightning, and it was, but unfortunately Terminator was there to shut it down.
Especially with the Pele ultimate down during that fight. Lucan this time is the one caught out. Got pinged very early. Perspective Duck turned around and is going to find the kill onto Lucan Colors. And everybody's rotating over. This time, Thor is trying to get there first, just in case things get hairy. But he might have overstepped a little bit. It doesn't seem like anyone's committing that far quite yet. Going to go back to solo lane. And Cube's going to pick up the oracles. Things kind of calmed down a bit, but it looked dangerous for a second. We do see the support and carry hanging out for Volcanic Lightning, but all they're really going to be able to do is chase away Geo, and not many objectives on the map. Where do they go from here?
I think you're just looking, if you're Volcanic Lightning, to maybe group up and try and catch someone out. Maybe catch him on a ward stepping too far forward, but really there's not much you can do with all these objectives down.
Big ult from Terminator, but Budweiser had one of his own. No way they can fight this. The Pele is just doing a bit too much damage combined with the damage from Terminator, who did not go a very tanky build, even for a solo laner. Doing crazy damage over there with this double stacking.
Yeah, double stacking, but also that Bancross Talon gives such a huge shield to the Hades. It allows for just enough sustainability to get all of your damage ult, but will he be able to survive? That was a 5-man attempted gank, it looked like.
I was just about to say, how much can he sustain a 5-man gank, but they decided to go the other way. Maybe they're trying to either bait or set up for a fire giant here at 20 minutes. It'd be a bit of a questionable call, but everybody's here. Medusa's on the way now. BudweiserCranker is the first one to get poked out. Gonna have to get out of there, and quickly. But the Medusa ultimate is no good in the back. Doesn't find Budweiser. But Terminator found him. Cube gets a return kill onto Burple. And Small Town Girls is going to have to try to reposition as Terminator is caught out in a 1v1 with the mid laner. But he's so far ahead. The damage was leaning very much one-sided, but he dashed into Perspective Duck, who shuts him down. I'm a monster hits on Q, but not enough for the kill, as he's going to get away. Small Town Girls does have the health advantage, but they did lose 2 to the 1 of Volcanic Lightning. Big fight for them so far. If they're done fighting, Perspective Duck is on a blood hunt right now. Takes a bit of damage from the crush, but nothing too crazy. Perspective Duck has completely taken control of Volcanic Lightning's play calling, it feels, and it kind of feels like they're going to try to follow him on the Kernanos to victory.
Yeah, he is the second highest level in the lobby, 2-level lead over Geo. He is asserting dominance right now. Actually a full item and then some over Geo. He is imposing his will. He is doing what he can, rotating to these team fights and just absolutely making a difference. He's doing everything that you should be doing when you have a lead like this.
And we talked about how we could see that Kernanos being the difference maker for Volcanic Lightning. I don't think either of us expected to happen this early on in the game. I mean, Small Town Girl still has a commanding lead, but it's dwindling quicker and quicker because each fight, Perspective Duck is putting in work. So they've got to find a way to shut him down. They tried last time, but I think Terminator being cut off in the side closer to the solo lane blue buff was just a bit too far away from Perspective Duck, because by the time he dashed in, he got deleted. So I think Small Town Girls, I mean, I want to hear your take too, but I think from here on out, Perspective Duck is #1 on the wanted list.
Absolutely. And I think that Small Town Girls have the tools to do it. I mean, BurpleNurple can really effectively be a beads burner. And then also, if that happened, get the beads, get the dash, and then Perspective Duck has no way to get out of the Pillar of Agony from Terminator. So if that happens, Perspective Duck will just be a sitting, oh wait.
Beautiful setup for your own joke. We should get that joke into the dad bot in the Discord. But on that note, King of Darkness kind of caught out a bit in mid lane. Nothing crazy. Since that last fight by the Fire Giant, things have calmed down a lot. I'm not sure if Volcanic Lightning is going to look for a similar play to pressure out the Fire Giant, but Pele has beat them to the Pyromancer. And it's already at half. Only Atlas is there to contest it right now. Thor is not ulted yet. Small Town Girls gets the Pyromancer. And everybody from Volcanic Lightning is kind of spread out. Could see some good pressure here come out from Small Town Girls.
Yeah, if you're on Volcanic Lightning, you can't let neutral objectives like that go uncontested. You don't want this gold, you know, as you said, Volcanic Lightning have been really fighting back, retaking some of that gold lead from the Small Town Girls, and if they continue to let objectives go uncontested, that lead will slip right back in favor of Small Town Girls. So definitely need to get some wards up around these objectives and make sure that they are showing face when they are under duress.
I completely agree, because if you want to get back in, you can't give up Pyro for free, and potentially worse. Right now, Small Town Girls has sniffed out that they have a man advantage, and Burple's trying to make the most of it, but is falling fast. But Cubed, oh, might have gotten baited into using his ultimate, smacks down on the ground. Oni Fury being pulled by King of Darkness and Perspective Duck, but Geo's waiting around the corner, gonna go for a steal attempt. It's at a quarter half. Here's the ultimate! Small Town Girls gets the steal, led by Geo. And with just like that, Geo's going to be in a 1v2, and a fight's going to break out at the Fire Giant. Geo's going to be able to slither away at a quarter health. BlackAirForcess gets a kill onto Burple. Terminator gets a kill on the Cubed. BlackAirForcess is falling low. I'm a monster, no good, doesn't matter. Lucan kills BlackAirForcess. That was all over the map. Beautiful from Small Town Girls.
Yeah, Geo just showing up, as I said, to the Oni Fury and just doing what he can, you know, trying to steal that objective, and gets away with it, gets out with his life. BurpleNurple does fall on the other side of the map, but you get BlackAirForce and Cube for it. That's a 2-for-1 plus a Gold Fury. That's definitely worth it for the Small Town Girls.
Yeah, this is what they've been so good at this game too. In the beginning, it was more the big victories, the big kills going the way of Small Town Girls. But as Volcanic Lightning has caught up in the kill count, we're seeing more small victories across the map from Small Town Girls. I don't know if that was their strategy coming into the game, but they've adapted so well throughout this entire thing. And Perspective Duck, who we were talking about needed to be on their hit list, that time he was at the Oni Fury. So once that steal went their way, they were able to kind of turn their attention. They are pulling a Fire Giant. Volcanic Lightning is very spread out, but it's not falling fast. This is going to be a big turn from Small Town. This is probably a bait. Down to half, though. Geo's still on it. Gonna have to back out. Was left alone. Half health for Lucan. Perspective Duck is here. Burple and Terminator turn their attention. Kraken comes out, though, and catches them, saving Perspective Duck. He gets a double. Budweiser has his own double. And it's going to be a deicide going the way of Volcanic Lightning. The Fire Giant's theirs now.
We talk about it a lot. Circles are the best shape in Smite. And we saw perfect examples of that. BudweiserCranker able to hit a huge ult along with BlackAirForce. Huge circles that just take up so much space, just absolutely allowing them to control the fight and destroy the Small Town Girls.
Yeah, that was a completely brutal turn of events for Small Town Girls. I think the call there should have been a definitive either let's try to burn fire, we've had it for so long, or get off of fire, everybody, and turn your attentions to this fight. They were just caught out in every different direction. Geo almost died to the Fire Giant at the end, getting a lot of damage from those boulders at the end. So kind of just split calling mixed with the quick deaths and Perspective Duck being kept alive by BlackAirForcess. Everything went wrong for Small Town Girls.
And all the small town lead
Ooh,
from Small Town Girls' small time victories has led them to being behind now by about 2K. So all that work that Small Town Girls put in to make sure that they were staying ahead has absolutely crumbled with just that one fight. We talked about stealing away Fire Giants in the picks and bans phase, but you know, stealing an objective is nice, but winning the fight at the objective is so much better.
I agree. That big time lead has really just completely left for small town girls. Cubed just absolutely obliterated Geo, and Burple just got shut down so hard by Perspective Duck, who is now on a rampage. They got completely picked off in the duo lane, picking fights that they probably had no business picking.
Yeah, that's one downside to this Pele. She needs to get in your face. She's really good at it. But Poseidon and Cernunnos are both extremely good at keeping themselves safe, dropping their ults at their feet and just picking up the scraps from there. So this safe backline from Volcanic Lightning really has been a thorn in the side of BurpleNurple this entire set.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to agree. And I think a big problem for small town girls, and we're never calling anybody out on this desk. There's always something to improve upon, though. And TragicFox on the Scylla early on showed a lot of promise with some really good I'm a Monsters, but mid to late here has really been a non-factor. And as I say that, gets blinked on by Cube, takes some serious damage. He's got to get out of there. Terminator, though, with good response, but even better response from BlackAirForcess. And now everybody in Small Town Girls has to get out of there if they want to survive. Burple gets a kill on the BlackAirForcess. Geo gets a kill on Darkness, though, and they might turn it around at the Phoenix. Perspective Duck, though, shuts down those ideas quickly. He's got a double. Burple's got a double. Everybody's got a double except for me in the booth. And the Phoenix is now the new target, but there's only 2 people alive. So they're going to have to either fall back or re-engage against a healthy Pele with a Magi's Blessing.
And this is not a fight you want to re-engage on. Without a minion wave, those HP bars are going to be falling to the Phoenix so fast. I can't imagine that Volcanic Lightning's remaining 2 players decide to step up.
The only thing that would cause them to maybe consider stepping into this fight would be if they could pop that bubble on the Pele, but that's going to be the difference maker. Wall, though, is no good. Damage coming on the Budweiser. Burple, though, taking more. Can't block the autos from Perspective Duck. The Phoenix is going to fall, and Burple was almost right behind it. Very well played from Volcanic Lightning, but here come the very damaging mages. Budweiser wisely gonna ult out of there before those mages can do too much. But is that a teleport coming? That's a teleport coming! He found Budweiser and Perspective Duck! What map awareness! Beautiful play by Terminator. Can he find any kills from it, though? He has no backup yet, trying to go invisible. Now he's committing. He wants the blood here. Now Atlas is here. Tragic is not going in. There's the ultimate. Terminator falling fast. Amazing map awareness. Terrible execution from Terminator. He's gonna fall with no help from Small Town Girls. And now Volcanic Lightning is back. They're healthy. They've got a Gold Fury and the game ahead of them.
Yeah, that's the one real downfall to this build from Terminator. Yes, he's doing the damage, but, a single speck of anti-heal onto this Hades, and he isn't going to be as effective at staying alive. Lifesteal is so crucial in this build between the Bancrofts and the Polynomicon. If he's anti-healed, then he's just gonna melt like butter, and we've seen that a few times now, just Terminator ulting in and not being able to survive afterwards. He really hasn't been able to have the impact that he did earlier on in the game.
And we see the 3 major anti-heal items. We see a Brawlers, a Divine, and a Pestilence all on the side of Volcanic Lightning. So they've pretty much shut down the Hades. The attempt to cut off Perspective Duck was wonderful, but Budweiser was just a little bit too healthy with that bulwark for that to really matter. Fire Giant being pulled from Volcanic Lightning here, and it's dropping fast. Budweiser and Cube are ulting in the back to keep them away. Kraken is out for the secure. It's a Fire Giant for Volcanic Lightning, and everybody's still healthy. Burple might have gotten caught out in the back, and TragicFox is having to back. Got low very quick. Can't back, though. Still there low. Budweiser's trying to break through. Everybody's here and so healthy for Volcanic Lightning. They might be looking to just run it down and attempt to end. Gonna turn their attentions back mid. Budweiser's committed, gets a good wall. Fire minions are on the Titan. Small Town Girls has to get out of there quick to kill fire minions and prepare for this Phoenix defense. Volcanic Lightning has got them completely on the ropes. Phoenix Siege begins. Terminator blinks in once again, does heal, does half health to BlackAirForcess and Perspective Duck. Burple goes into the back throw and gets deleted from Perspective Duck. That Odysseus bow and the damage to follow was too much to handle. And Dev's gloves and the lifesteal passage from Kurtanos, he's already almost full health again on top of Fire Giant. So now small town girls find themselves down a member, and the Phoenix push with Fire Giant goes to the right side. This Phoenix is going to drop just as fast. Terminator looking to go in again. Budweiser ults in the back. Terminator this time got rooted and took a lot of damage from BlackAirForcess. There's the Kurtanos ultimate. Robin gets the kill onto Terminator. Another member down for Small Town Girls. All 5 still alive for Volcanic Lightning. No more Phoenixes to speak of, and here comes the Titan Siege. Lucan gets deleted. Double kill for Cube. Tragic and Geo forced into their fountain. The Kraken comes out. The victory goes the way of Volcanic Lightning. A absolute essay in teamwork from Volcanic Lightning, and they get the victory.
Not only teamwork, but if I had to describe how Volcanic Lightning won this game in one word, it was patience. They had to weather the storm, and they did it so beautifully. BlackAirForcess and Perspective Duck had to be able to get their items online to stop the snowball of this Pele. Burple did a great job, but he just got blown up every time he tried to dive. Just they had to weather the storm and let their team comp come together. And once they did, they were absolutely unstoppable.
We did only see 11k damage from the Scylla and 12k damage from the Medusa. Terminator and Burple were really the only damage going the way of Small Town Girls. So getting into game 2, that might be the number one thing that they need to change. And with that, we'll see you in game number 2 of this set on the Smite Draft League. Team play, Perspective Duck, those were the real difference makers in game number 1. But getting into game number 2, looking for a change is Small Town Girls. I'm Anthony, he's Joywolffe. Let's get into the picks and bans.
And already, the respect ban on the Poseidon, it was so impactful that entire game. I don't blame them at all for banning out this Poseidon. Just the damage, the area control, all of it was absolutely huge, and BlackAirForcess deserves that respect ban.
Yeah, especially late game. In the early game, we both kind of thought TragicFox might have a really strong Scylla game ahead of him, but really, BlackAirForcess, that mid to late game when Tragic fell off, but BlackAirForcess stepped on and went off on the Poseidon. But the real story of the game, when it comes to individual performance, was Perspective Duck on the Kurtanos, which, by the way, is a character that I don't even think it was the character. I mean, there was some lifesteal difference making in the very last fight, but if Perspective Duck is performing like that today on ADCs, there's nothing you can ban out. You just got to try to outplay him at this point.
Yeah, perhaps maybe even some big rotations from the support jungle and mid, maybe. Sometimes that's what it takes when you want to shut somebody down. So we'll see if they try and really shut down Prospective Duck, or if he's able to snowball again.
We do see a Hades ban, so that is taken away from Terminator, and we see a first lock Lancelot. What do you think of the Lancelot?
I definitely think that this is something that Burple would thrive on, much like the Pele, able to get active early and just be in every team fight. If Burple wants to be somewhere, he can hop on his horse and gallop on over there. So Lancelot definitely makes sense with his play style. So not surprised at all to see it.
Yeah, I think the problem for Burple was not really the performance in the Pele. That was great. The problem was kind of a lack of follow up. He was kind of doing the damage alone for a good while there. There was a big lack of damage from mid and ADC in particular. So maybe this Lancelot can give Burple, like you said, the same effect as the Pele, but maybe set up his team to pick up that damage a bit.
Absolutely. And again, we're seeing Baba Yaga picked up by the Chaos side. I really love this pick. It's a safe god, and late game, you're going to be doing absolutely huge damage numbers. So anyone that tries to dive on you is going to get absolutely blown up. So love to see this Baba Yaga brought out here.
We saw the Yu Huang in response, and now we see the Geophreigh. I love a Geophreigh in any game, in any league. We see the Pele get brought out, though. So I was just about to say, I wonder if we're going to see maybe an Execute come out, but no, Burple didn't pick up the Pele. We want it for ourselves. So big response pick here from Volcanic Lightning.
Yeah, Yu Huang might be an extremely safe god, but Pele's really able to just close the distance. So I really understand why this pick came out. Just able to track down that Yu Huang and really run him down.
Yeah, and TragicFox, assuming that he continues on the mid lane for Small Town Girls, really needs to pick it up this game. And that Yu Huang might be the thing that does it. But like you said, if that Pele can close the gap and beat down on TragicFox and once again can keep him from being a difference maker, then that Pele might be the difference maker for Volcanic Lightning.
Yes, definitely. Though, although Geophreigh is really good at saving whoever is dove by Pele, so
Very true.
that is an interesting pick, knowing that the enemy squad has a Geophreigh already.
I almost, for the same reasons, it's not been super popular this season, but we have seen it a couple of times go to different solo laners. I would have liked to see a Thanatos, honestly, because I think it could have been really good in tracking down Yu Huang, keeping up with the Lancelot, completely eliminating Geophreigh's biggest strength for the most part. I think it could have been a strong pick, and we might still see it in the solo lane. It is doubtful, but I would have liked to have seen it, possibly more than the Pele.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. Achilles is also still open in the solo lane, so that could be another option to kind of counteract that Scarab's Blessing. I mean, technically Ao Kuang is also available.
There it is.
Achilles is much more reasonable, as that's why it's locked in there.
And there is the Execute to counter the Geophreigh. There's only one Geophreigh, and there's a lot of Executes, so tough to play around there for Small Town Girls. Geophreigh is still an effective character, but taking away the Cardanos is Small Town Girls. I said it in the beginning, and I stand by it. I don't think it was the Cardanos that was the issue. So I expect to maybe see a similar type of character, though. We could see a Rom, or if we want to get really crazy and nasty with it, we could see an Ishtar or something of that vein. But the King Arthur goes alongside the Cardanos, and we see a Ho Yi. Okay, so one of the originals. I was on the right path.
Yeah, Hu Yi is such an effective boxing ADC. I'm not surprised to see that locked in here. And we'll see how it performs in game number 2. We'll see you soon.
stack, restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe there's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need, what you need. We're broken, it's tragic, we're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it, and I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness. So tell me, oh, will you believe? So tell me, oh, will you believe? So tell me, oh, will you believe? So tell me, oh, will you believe?
Small Town Girls comes into this game lacking damage and looking to mix things up. Volcanic Lightning comes into this game looking for Perspective Duck to just run away with it again. I'm Anthony. He's Joywolffe. Let's do it.
Yes, and I'm so excited to see Perspective Duck on this Huyi. So good at 1v1s. Just seems like Perspective Duck was able to run that lane all game one. So we'll see if he's able to run it back on this ever strong Huyi.
Yeah, I think the Kernanos piloted, again, I'm going to say that, by Perspective Duck was a difference maker, because I don't think it was the Kernanos, and I think we might see that this game from Perspective Duck on the Huyi. We'll have to see the response, though, from Small Town Girls, because they did not play a bad game. So I'm really curious to see going forward if we see a similar early game. There was a lot of blood early game last time. There was an early first blood in solo. There was a big fight in duo.
Yeah, I definitely think that if Small Town Girls clean this up, you know, maybe not diving as hard this game, just clean it up a little bit, little less mistakes, they can definitely run away with this game. Cube
We
is
see a
getting
big
poked
brawl
out
for
here.
that XP camp there. Cube took a lot of damage and had to get away quick. Just as you pointed out, that got scary fast, but might have been able to turn that to his advantage. No, he's going for the camp. I thought maybe he saw the jungle from Small Town Girls disappear and thought about a solo lane gank. We did not see that. Now, last time, we saw Geo and Lucan get pushed out incredibly early. This time, they're holding their own in the dual lane and have the small health advantage. So, while it's a small thing, and they are being pushed to their tower currently, it's a massive change from last game, which is a positive for Small Town Girls.
Absolutely. One thing to note, though, however small it may be, one thing that will aid King of Darkness currently is he's holding the Scepter. That does a decent amount of damage to help you clear out minions. So, based off that alone, Volcanic Lightning should be able to out-clear Small Town Girls' duo lane.
And that's going to matter a lot. Terminator, though, getting very poked out by Budweiser's got to play it safe. He's taking the risk of a solo. Going to get the knock up. Down to 1 HP. Hugs the wall. He's safe for now. That was close. I will scream solo at you and not feel bad about it. So play it safe, Terminator.
That was so close. I really thought Budweiser was going to be able to finish off that solo kill. Terminator being poked out by minions. Just, they do so much HP damage early.
Terminator was contesting the blue, not going to get it, and took even more damage. Budweiser taking control of this solo lane early. It was a bit more even early on last time, despite the crazy first blood. And Terminator's got the back under his tower, because if he stays here for too long, he might take a lot of poke damage. There's some of it. Gotta play it safe. You're not invincible as Arthur, no matter how many dashes you have.
Yeah, and right now, Budweiser gonna retreat to the blue, give Terminator a moment to breathe, but I imagine he's looking to brawl as soon as he gets that blue buff around his waist. So we'll see if Terminator, he still hasn't backed yet. He's so low and out of mana.
Yeah, a lot of aggression over there. The duo lane, we do see some pokes coming out. Bit out of position was Luke and getting slowed down. The Bramble might be enough to save him for now, but here comes the jump from Ho Yi. There's the Suns. Lucan doesn't have ultimate yet. Get him poked out, but just not quite enough damage for the first blood for Perspective Duck. Oh no, we got a gank in solo though. Budweiser really thought he had it, but he did so much damage to Purple. If they don't play it safe, they might get a double kill. Back to the duo lane though. We do see Pele showing up. Gonna walk the other way. Not quite enough push out from Khepri and Kernanos. Really good response there from Cube, knowing that the Lancelot was in solo and heading over to duo. On the way back, catches out TragicFox, who's gonna fall as soon as he comes down out of the dragon to the ultimate from Cube for the first blood.
And absolutely as we had predicted, just Cube being able to track down TragicFox on this Hu Yi. A super safe escape, but you don't cover a whole lot of ground, and Pele could definitely do that in spades.
Yeah, it's really tough because especially that awkward. I mean, I'm sure every mid player has had at least one experience where you're heading through that escape into your tower in the mid lane, and you just kind of get caught out there with nowhere to go. Not a good feeling.
No, absolutely not. That is the closest thing you can be, besides a 20k deficit, to feeling absolutely helpless.
Yeah, it's really not a good feeling at all.
Purple will secure the neutral farm in the oracles though, so still doing what they can to make sure that the small gold lead of Volcanic Lightning doesn't grow. Doing what they have to do, you know. Even if you're behind, you still have to be getting
no,
the farm.
Geo. Gonna have to use the purification beads and the ultimate just to create some separation from Perspective Duck. Almost got picked off. Just going for a camp. That duo lane is never safe. Perspective Duck is the carry you're going against.
Absolutely. Perspective Duck has already started his stacking, so he's going to be ahead in that department. It looks like Geo might be in for another rough lane against Perspective Duck.
Yeah, and we talked about it last time on the Medusa, and we did not see this happen. Where we were saying if you're going to get pushed out this badly, if the control is going to go so strongly the way of your opponent. Oh no! Is that no, it's not a solo. That was a gank. Oh no, that was a solo. Budweiser, though, going to get picked up by Burple in response. But Budweiser first. I said I'd do a Terminator. Got soloed! Back to the duo lane, though. I do want to take a look at something really quick. Yep, I was looking to see if Atlas was leaving to let the Ho Yi with Perspective Duck get more and more solo farm. This duo lane is such a story to follow. You know, there it is. Looking to get the other team to walk up. They do it. Not quite a kill to follow up on. In the mid lane, though, there's plenty of blood as TragicFox has gotten a kill on the Cube, who was chasing him behind his tier 1 tower. Volcanic Lightning might be too aggressive this game. Now BlackAirForcess could get picked up by Purple, but a bit of a mishap there on the movement. That ultimate can be kind of flimsy to control. Purple buff fight time. Small Town Girls is falling low and quick. Khepri ultimate onto himself. Jump from Perspective. He wants to go in, but his support is saying, come back, come back. We got buffs to do. Close call in the duo lane. Purple still hanging out. BlackAirForcess is low in mid. Purple is just trying to defend his own red buff and is going to have to probably think better of it. I don't think you can get the steal here. Atlas has a very good defense of it. Might have stayed too long. Here comes the backup, though. And now King of Darkness is the one who might be caught out. There's the root from Khepri. Purple's trying to follow up the damage. There's the Suns. That's going to be enough. We all know those Khepri bleeds are a bit too much to handle. Purple falls, and I can finally take a breath because we're done fighting.
Those teams just scrapping back and forth constantly. Kind of like the arena match we predicted for game 1. But, you know, decided to wait a game, give us the slow drag out, and now they've just been brawling back and forth. You would think there'd be more kills, but only 3-2 in favor of the Small Town Girls as TragicFox forced out again. She is safe under her tower for a little bit, but it looks like she will remain as These ADCs are just brawling.
Oh, Geo almost dashed into the ricochet, which is just honestly the culmination of everything we've seen so far in that duo lane. It's just been brutal for Geo, who is doing everything they can, but in the solo lane, we see an ultimate come out from Burple. There's the Atlas ultimate, and it's going to be a double kill from TragicFox, looking to make up for the damage. Now King of Darkness is alone. The BlackAirForcess has just gotten here, looking for potentially a house. Pushed under tower is Lucan, but I don't think there's enough damage there to really make any kind of difference. But there's plenty of damage from that Yuwong. BlackAirForce is backing away. I expect them to run away. I'm not sure why they're even pushing up. I don't think they can win this fight.
No, those HP bars are just too low. I really don't like this call.
I like it more now with Budweiser here, but that was, for a second there, that was a really risky call from Volcanic Lightning for everybody to stay.
Yeah, once the teleport came in, you know, that's the police coming out to the party.
Oh, no.
You know it's over at that point, but...
Oh, no. He's dashing in. Perspective Duck is not afraid. He wants blood, and he might be able to pick up one on the purple. He's falling quick. Here comes TragicFox, just trying to help his jungle out. Ultimate from Burple. He's so low. Ricochet, no good. Burple gets the kill, but it took everybody from Small Town Girls just to take out Perspective Duck, who wanted blood in the purple buff.
And that's just who Perspective Duck has been. He will stare you down and fight you no matter what. And unfortunately, he falls there, but man, that took a lot of resources to bring down one player.
Yeah, and we see that in response as we do get a slight invade from Volcanic Lightning to follow up. But King of Darkness might have stepped too far. Lucan's going to pick him out. Here's the grab. Good cutoff, though, from BlackAirForcess, and it's house time, baby. Chasing down TragicFox, getting blown up by the Molotovs, but getting blown up in response as BlackAirForcess going to fall to Burple. Now the pull onto King of Darkness. Terminator gets the kill onto him. And Small Town Girls is picking up fight after fight.
Yeah, these teams just don't want to rest, it seems. They just want to constantly be fighting. And, I mean, I'm down for it. It makes for exciting content, right?
Yeah, I mean, you actually said it in the very beginning of picks and bans of game number 1 that this could be an arena game. And that's pretty much what we've seen so far. Not a lot of kills on the board, but fighting non-stop as we're back. Solo lane. Burple's here for the gank onto BudweiserCranker. Gonna have to ult away back under his tower for safety. Crazy.
Yeah, these junglers have been so active on both sides of the map. Just getting in there, making impacts. They're definitely earning their pay today. As Geo just wants his purple buff, man. Duck, man, what did Geo do to you? Why you gotta take this man's purple on cooldown?
Geo's trying to contest the purple buff, not going to get it, loses it to Duck, but this time will not get jumped on at least because Lucan did show up just in time to get Duck to back away. We're going to be back to boxing in the duo lane. In the mid lane, though, we do have the supports hanging out, but Burple is hanging out, maybe looking for a play behind. Pele is a bit separated for now. A stun on the King of Darkness, but no follow-up from Burple yet. Probably going to commit to something else after this amount of time he spent hanging out.
And, you know, we talked about Lucent showing up, but I would like to see more from the Small Town Girls to try and help Geo secure this purple. Maybe bringing Burple, or he's just going to be active on the other side of the map too, you know. that works.
Burple does pick up a kill on the BudweiserCranker, but Cubed has run into Geo, who cannot catch a break in the duo lane. Now going to fall to the jungler from Volcanic Lightning in his own side of the jungle as the attention was on solo lane. Tough day for Geo at the office.
Yeah, it's tough, but the thing is, you can't ever get in your own head and just, alright, you know, time to F6. You can't be like that, you know. You need to be there for your team, no matter how bad it gets, you know. They're relying on you, so...
Sneaky Gold Fury is followed up by an even sneakier King of Darkness pickup from Small Town Girls, trying to get a response on the Gold Fury. But Volcanic Lightning's here for the revenge. Kepriel, who cares? And we've got an execute. That's why you listen to the casters in the picks and bans. There's a kill for BudweiserCranker on the Achilles. And now TragicFox has got to get out of there as the bombs are raining down. Geophreigh pluck will not be enough to save TragicFox today, as Budweiser is hot on the case. In the back, though, Terminator gets a kill on the BlackAirForcess. Lucan was able to save TragicFox. I thought the Achilles was going to run it down, but turned around just before the kill could be secured. Now the ADCs are in mid lane at level 14 for one and 10 for the other. The jump away, though, from Perspective Duck, as bad as he may have wanted to jump in, his team did make the opposite call.
Yeah, that looked like, for the most part, a fairly even trade, but that looked like that could have gone so much worse. Tragic was so low, but they just overextended and allowed a pick to get to be returned, therefore evening up the team fight. A little bit of greed just really causing them to overextend.
Yeah, I really thought that BudweiserCranker was going to run it all the way down underneath that tower, but he ultimately thought better of it, which was probably for the best, because Lucan was there and the team wasn't far behind. This time, though, Purple gets caught out. Going to have to use that ultimate. Cubed tried to follow up, though, ran into a TragicFox and will not be able to get the kill onto Purple. And we got another brawl in the mid lane. Root from Lucan picks up Cubed, though, and the damage follow-up is good as TragicFox gets the kill onto Cube. And now it's a 3v2 in the mid lane. No ADC rotations yet, but Perspective Duck might be showing up, running it down.
Yeah, I was gonna say earlier, kudos to BudweiserCranker for easing up on the gas pedal a little bit. The previous team fight could have gone so much worse, but the teams are fighting again. They just don't want to stop.
They don't want to stop. They want action, action, and more action. King of Darkness got pulled, is very low. Purple is there to secure the kill on to King of Darkness. Another kill for the jungle on Small Town Girls, who once again, Purple has had a fantastic showing. We talked a lot about Perspective Duck, but not enough is being said about the performance from Purple on two different junglers now.
Yeah, Purple's really showing off his play style, just being able to get in there, make a difference, impacting the entire map on these speedy
BlackAirForcess is getting blown up from Terminator and getting backed away from that Pyromancer. Things are just tough around the map for Small Town Girls. They can't get consistent fights. They can get kills, but it's been inconsistent the whole time. And now Perspective Duck has gotten a solo onto Geo after a kill went the way in the solo lane fight. It's so tough for Small Town Girls. It feels like every time they get a victory against Volcanic Lightning, in response, Volcanic Lightning takes an objective or gets a random double kill in the jungle or gets map pressure. There can just never be a consistent victory from Small Town Girls.
Yeah, Small Town Girls, although leading the kill charts, are down in gold. So it just goes to show how well Volcanic Lightning are macroing, playing the map, and just doing everything right to make sure that they're not falling behind when they're watching the game in grayscale.
Yeah, it's so tough too, because when you have the lead that they've had, the last thing that you want to do when you have a kill lead is feel like you're behind in everything else, because it kind of feels like it's confusing almost in the comms just to figure out like what's going wrong. And it's even hard to look from this perspective of what's going wrong for Small Town Girls. I think the ultimate thing that they need to do is to try to reassess how they have their team fights and try to slow down the pace and let some of their team farm up, because we're seeing a pretty significant lead in the ADC category. And while that's one role, that's a role that you can't afford to just have nothing from. TragicFox has turned it around this game and has shown up versus the Scylla game last time, but we are not seeing the same thing from Geo so far.
Yeah, and it's only on the back of 2 kills from Perspective Duck. He's just farming so absolutely efficiently. It's crazy. He has a 4-level lead and only 2 kills. How often do you see that?
There's the Suns. Kepriel had to come out to get TragicFox out of there. Hou Yi's just hanging out in the solo lane at this point. Might be good for Geo, gets to split push and maybe get some farm to catch up, but while he's doing that, Perspective Duck is going to be fighting with his team by the Fire Giant, and Small Town Girls had to back up from that fight, and with a quickness, we do see a bit of a spread now. Burple's gone back to the mid lane, but the fighting isn't done by the Fire Giant. Baba Yaga met him there, but we've got action right in front of us. BudweiserCranker with the blink on the TragicFox. The pluck comes out from Geophreigh to pull him off very quickly. Tragic's going to try to get out of there, but Budweiser is just right on it. Burple now with the rotation into the back. There's the ultimate. Not going to be enough to save Terminator as BlackAirForcess gets the kill onto him. The execute, though, is no good as Geophreigh was able to block it with some fancy footwork. In the back, though, BlackAirForcess has got a double kill on the Burple. Budweiser picks up TragicFox. All the moves from Geophreigh were for nothing, and Geo just now peeking over to see what happened, just to find that 3 of his teammates are dead, and the Fire Giant may be getting picked up by Volcanic Lightning.
And I kind of wish Geo would have rotated a little bit sooner. I know you want to farm up, but fighting the 4v5 is so brutal, and especially when Perspective Duck is so huge. It's not only that you're down, but the absolute raid boss, highest level in the map player, is also there. It's so hard to fight into, and that's probably why the fight went so well for the Volcanic Lightning, just having the full team there.
And it probably sounds a bit, contradicting to my previous statement. I did say, I want to see Geo try to farm up, but there does come a point, and I'm sure, a lot of people have been flamed for this exact thing. You do need to farm up, and you do need to catch up, because if you're too far behind, you're irrelevant. But if your entire team is getting slaughtered to Fire Giant, the last place that you want to be found is in the duo lane killing minions. So it's a really rough balance, but that's kind of the key, and that's the thing that could have made the difference early here for Geo. It isn't too late to turn things around. This game is far from out of hand, but it's just something to keep an eye on as Geo now gets caught out in the dual lane, has to use purification beads. Tragic and Burple are coming, but I don't know if they're going to be there in time. They will be enough to get Geo away, but just as I'm talking about it, we see now Geo pressured out, half health, going to have to farm up on minions, and now this Primal Fury gets to be pressured out by Volcanic Lightning.
Yeah, this is absolutely brutal. Volcanic Lightning are just running with the lead that they have as Cube falls low, but nothing really going to happen as a result of it.
Primal Fury goes the way of Volcanic Lightning, and with the exception of Cube, who took quite a bit of damage, everybody's healthy and still has fire. Geo, with the very early Aegis, just kind of hanging out in duo lane without a tower, and everybody in the jungle gets picked up by Perspective Duck. TragicFox has a teleport coming to help out. They've got to defend the tier 2. Lucan coming around the back. Burple's invading a jungle over in the right lane. Kind of just everybody's everywhere right now for Small Town Girls, and the defense is not going to be easy with this kind of spread.
No, and
oh no. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Joy. Hold on to your thought, as Budweiser just went around the back of the tower looking for some damage. Didn't quite get any, but in the front they were able to do quite a lot. TragicFox, though, gets a kill on the Cube. Fire Giant be damned. Execute is stronger, though. Gets the kill on a TragicFox. And now Lucan gonna have to fall back with Terminator. Did not use the ultimate to save TragicFox, so did not waste it on the execute, and they still have it for this Phoenix defense, but things are falling fast, and Burple just got here. Frenzy, though, followed by a blink. Burple ults in, looking for the kill, trying to take out Perspective Duck, but at what cost, Burple? At what cost? BlackAirForcess gets the kill onto him. It's Geo, Lucan, and Terminator now to defend the Phoenix as Perspective has fallen and Cubed died earlier.
At first it might have seemed a little crazy for the Frenzy, but really that little Hail Mary did so much for the Small Town Girls. It may have even saved their Phoenix. Perspective Duck falling was absolutely a huge shutdown. And not only that, stripping Fire Giant off Cube and Duck really means that Volcanic Lightning probably won't be able to siege another Phoenix. So they might be able to strip away a few towers, but yeah, for now your Phoenixes are safe. You can breathe a little bit.
Yeah, I think the best case scenario right now for Small Town is to, like we said, slow that pace down. Let Geo farm a little more, finish up another item, and try not to pick any fights without Geo.
Yeah, a lot of the players are around that level, 17 mark. Just get to level 20, take a chance and, breathe. Just get your farm, get your items, finish those starter upgrades.
Yeah,
Let the
and
game
just like that, they're
progress.
hanging out too far. I mean, it's just like you said, Joy. You're really playing things unnecessarily risky. Burple dove in the back, and Cubed is there for the punishment. The ultimate, though, whiffs, and Burple gets one out of his own. Gonna get away, and now it's up to Cube to try to change things in the mid. But Tragic gets the nice escape. Gonna be safe for now. They're gonna try to defend this tier 2, which they're not gonna be able to do. That was a tier 1, pardon me. Tier 1 falls. Now it's a tier 2 defense. Execute range for TragicFox was enough to back him up from BudweiserCranker, who's going to have to use that ultimate to get away, though. Kind of an awkward fight for both sides. Everybody's alive. Tier 1 tower did fall. But honestly, kind of a good fight for Small Town Girls because nobody died.
Yeah, this isn't where you want to be. If the casters are saying that it was a good fight because no one died, that's not where you want to be. Just please slow down. Just get your farm. I am begging. Please just slow down, get your farm, get your levels, do what you can to avoid fighting. I know it's hard. The fire giant just came up, but take a moment and farm, please.
You know, one of the toughest play calls to make, but sometimes one of the best play calls to make, is to give up the fire giant. Because ultimately, if it's not going to win you the game, but staying back and preparing your defense or farming up can win you the game, it might be the better call to give it up. I mean, we're going to see what they do here coming up, but if I'm making the play calls for Small Town Girls, I'm saying let's appear to be contesting to try to slow the pace down. Let's get the damage farmed up, but let's not commit to this fire giant. It is not worth losing the game over a fire giant that cannot win us the game. But with that being said, Lucan committed just a bit too far, dropping down too quick to even ult. BudweiserCranker gets the kill onto Lucan. Burple's in mid. Everybody else is in the solo jungle. Double stun by BudweiserCranker. Big damage coming out, following up. His team is not far behind. Geo's falling quick. Burple's here, but I don't know how much it's going to do. Purification beads from Geo. Budweiser gets the kill on the Tragic. Geo's barely alive under the tier 2 tower. Burple trying to take out Budweiser, but it's going to take them both, but they will do it. Geo gets a shutdown kill on the Budweiser, and the other members of Volcanic Lightning, though, are turning their attentions to the Fire Giant.
Yeah, this is such a commanding lead from Volcanic Lightning. I've said it too many times. Small Town Girls need to stop fighting, and if they don't, they are going to lose this game. Like,
Volcanic Lightning has secured the Fire Giant and secured Terminator's life with it, much to the dismay of Joywolffe on the caster's desk. And this is now, once again, completely Volcanic Lightning's game to lose.
And Anthony did a wonderful job of saying it earlier, but we only are here for not to harp on the teams. We're trying to be constructive, but how many times can you bash your head against the wall before you try and decide something different? These teams have been fighting for 28 minutes straight, and some of them did come up for the Small Town Girls, but the late game has been entirely Volcanic Lightning, and they now have a 10k gold lead because of it. It's just, I don't see how the Small Town Girls call can be to keep sticking around and fighting. You just have to drop it eventually, right? I mean,
yeah, you think at some point they have to fall back to their Phoenix and go for an all-out defense, because they're starting to get to a point of this game where the thing that can win the game for them is a deicide, and that might not even be enough, but it's going to take defense after defense until you either get caught up with Volcanic Lightning, which is doubtful for the short term, or again, you deicide them. And they're playing things risky.
yeah, and they haven't even finished starter items on 3 of their members. those are such helpful items to have. Some of the most important items to have in the game upgraded are your starter items, and not having those when the other team does is so difficult to play around.
There's the blink for BudweiserCranker on to Geo. Lucan trying to help where he can. I don't think it's going to be enough. Perspective Duck gets a big kill in the back, though, and this could be all she wrote for Small Town Girls. The execute is available. There's the ultimate onto Lucan. The execute's no good. Budweiser might be hung out to dry now. Terminator dropping fast. Geo gets a big kill. Cube picks up the kill on Terminator. Cube's in the back, blowing everybody up. It's probably gonna be an easy triple. There it is. That's gonna be it. The Phoenix drops. It's up to Lucan to defend. The blink from Cube to cut off Lucan. The basic seals the deal. It's a deicide for Volcanic Lightning, but more importantly, it's a victory of this set.
Yeah, kind of, you know, just stop fighting, please. That's all I can really say.
Thankfully, they can't fight anymore. That was tough. It was really, I genuinely think Small Town Girls had a lot of good in that game, and the game before, for that matter. I think it's just a matter of tidying things up, probably getting a little stricter on the comms and getting a bit more discipline. But with that being said, as the good things for Small Town Girls, there was a lot of good to talk about for Volcanic Lightning. You know, we were going crazy about Perspective Duck in that game, but this game was kind of the story of BudweiserCranker and Cube and a lot of damage from BlackAirForcess. This was a team effort for sure.
Absolutely. The dive was incredible. Cube and Budweiser were absolutely in there, just brawling it up, taking names, kicking butt. This was an entire team effort for that side of the game. Good job to them. And, you know, just for the other side, just, you know, you showed that you're willing to scrap and stick in the game, and that is respectable. I'm excited to see where this team is a few weeks down the road when they've played
I agree.
together a bit more, developed as a team. I think they really have a lot of heart, and it showed in that game. So I'm excited to see where they'll be a few weeks down the road once they've kind of meshed together a little bit more.
I think you said it best. So with that, we're going to leave you from this set, which was a commanding victory for Volcanic Lightning. This was a Smite Draft League. If you like what you see, you can join the Discord, get in some games yourself, and make sure you check out the YouTube and the Twitch and everything else that we have going for you. We have nonstop games and nonstop content coming your way. I have been Anthony. I had Joywolffe with me. On production, we had Nooblet, and we will see you next time.